You have quite a wide range of experience with different commercial real estate asset types. I'm interested in learning and hearing about how you've been able to navigate multiple asset types. Has it been just a keen interest from you in these different asset types, so you've been able to spend the time necessary to really become proficient in them, or have you gone out and sought out partners in those spaces? Maybe give us some insights on how you've been able to navigate taking part in multiple asset types.
I'm also a firm believer of niching down and becoming an expert in one particular niche. And so, with that being said, a lot of the we've got so we're general part we're sponsors, from a company level on three different asset types. With build to rent being the most recent. I'll kind of go into detail of how we found ourselves into that particular niche, but prior to build to rent, and again I mentioned parking assets. Mobile home parks literally have been the only thing that we've focused on for the past 10 years. Because I believe wholeheartedly in that philosophy of like niching down, becoming an expert. It's really hard to be, really widespread amongst multiple asset classes. Now, I understand many of the other asset classes, from a maybe mid to higher level. I don't have operational boots on the ground, the self-storage space or the medical office space or the retail space, but I've got personal capital amongst all those different asset classes, as well as a number of others. And so I've studied them enough. I've talked to enough operators, I understand the mechanics behind the business model, but I don't know it enough to say, hey, we're going to start buying that ourselves and just run that into our current infrastructure. So I rely on teams that are experts, just like we are in the mobile home park space, to really find that wide breadth of diversity in those other asset classes. So with that being said, again, mobile home parks have been our focus for the last decade. I mean, there's literally only like a handful of brokers that even specialize in that space. And there's 50,000 parking lots or garages across the country, but it's not, common mainstream investment vehicle. And just there's not many institutions in the space. It's fairly fragmented, not very consolidated at all. What I saw was that a number of the parking lots or parking garages were owned by a lot of mom and pop operators. They've owned them generationally, maybe they own one, two, or three, but with that being said, either they ran it themselves, but more often what you found is that in any particular market, so name Tampa, there's no less than 10 professional operational companies, management companies that manage parking, whether it be a surface lot, a garage, a valet for a hotel, what have you. And so we saw that as an opportunity to not necessarily to be able to invest in a new asset class, had a lot of similarities to mobile home parks, but not necessarily have to build out the infrastructure on the operation side, which is really where the expertise lies. Parking is an asset class that we've purchased roughly $35 million of parking over the last 2 years, and we have not hired one additional person in house to manage that side of our business. We handle the asset management, but ultimately we have professional operators in those various assets that run the day-to-day. And build to rent is no different than that of, at least a finished product of build to rent is no different than that of rental residential real estate, whether it be an apartment or a single family home that you have scattered across the portfolio or a mobile home park. And the development piece of it is the part that is unique in nature. And so we have partnered with a development group that's got 20 years of experience. That's how we've been able to kind of, again, diversify amongst three different asset classes. But those are the core. Again, I've got personal investments and a lot of other types of assets, but it doesn't necessarily require me to be an expert in each one of those to make a good investment decision.